Welcome back to PRO14 Weekly. This is the show where we look ahead to the weekend's fixtures of the PRO14. We had a break last weekend, and although the international rugby is back, we are still going to preview the games because there are quite a few games going on spread out across the whole weekend. So if you're new here and a fan of a PRO14 team, make sure to subscribe, leave a like on the video, and comment your predictions for your side down below. Let's start with Friday night's kickoff. It's Leinster hosting Zebra at the RDS Arena. Kickoff at 25-8. Leinster come into this one, as usual, on brilliant form, having won their first two games. They beat Dragons 35 points to 5, and they also beat Benetton 25 points to 37 out in Italy. They, of course, will have lost a lot of players to international duty, but you'd expect and believe that they have the strength in depth to win this one comfortably. Looking at the opponents in Zebra, it's been a tough start to the season. 2 losses out of 2 so far, losing at home to Cardiff Blues 6 points to 16 on the opening weekend, even though Cardiff Blues did go a man down, and also lost to the Dragons 2 weeks ago, 26 points to 18 at Rodney Parade. And realistically, Dragons should have looked to close that game out. There'll be debuts for hooker Dan Sheehan, centre Liam Turner and Cian Parker. They'll all get an opportunity to make their debuts for Leinster this weekend. So a really good opportunity for the side to blood some youngsters against, let's be honest, a pretty weak opposition in Zebra. And also the fact that they're international stars away, it gives them a good chance to give those players an opportunity. My predictions for this one, Leinster by at least 20 points, a comfortable victory for sure. They're going to run away with this one. It's going to be an easy result for them by 20 points. Leinster fans, Zebra fans, what are your predictions for this one? Moving on now to the other Friday night game at 8:15 down in Italy. It is Benetton who will host Scarlets at Stadio Comunale di Monigo. I think I got that one right. And this is going to be an interesting one because I've actually been pretty impressed by Benetton so far. Very unfortunate to lose against Ulster. Leinster let them back into the game at different points, but only losing to Ulster 35 points to 24 and losing then to Leinster 25-37. They've shown they can be in games, and you'd have to argue that Leinster and Ulster are the two strongest sides in the competition this year. For the Scarlets, they'll be looking to get their first result of the season as well. They've lost against Munster on the opening weekend, 27 points to 30, a late penalty there for Munster winning it. And also, they lost against Glasgow Warriors, 20 points to 7 up at Scotstoun 2 weeks ago. Some bonuses for the Scarlets. Liam Williams has been released by the Wales squad to play for the side, and he has been named in the team, so he will start. And also Cassiem is back in the side after, for some reason, being left out, but played in a friendly against the Dragons last week. This also will be a special day for Phil Price as he'll begin his 50th appearance for the side. For this one, I think I'm going to go back the Scarlets to win by 5 points to 10. I think they'll be so keen to get their first result of the season, and losing so many stars to the international scene for Treviso will really hurt. On the Saturday, then, we have one fixture only. It is the Ospreys hosting Glasgow Warriors down at the Liberty Stadium at 5:30. The Ospreys so far this season have been very up and down. Got a brilliant result up at Murrayfield against Edinburgh on the opening weekend, winning that one 25 points to 10. But Edinburgh was certainly not at the races that day. They did then go and lose against Ulster 12 points to 24, but a fantastic performance from Rhys Webb was really, really encouraging. But again, how is this team going to deal with losing so many international stars? Looking at Glasgow, they've had a mixed start as well, losing against Connacht in very, very dramatic fashion, 28 points to 24 out in Ireland, but then beating Scarlets comfortably, 20 points to 7. The team has not been announced yet as this is going out on a Thursday, but I do see Glasgow getting the result here. I just think that they'll be able to deal that a little bit more with losing some of their stars. And I've got to say, I'm going to see them winning this by 1 score. I think it's going to be close, though. I could be wrong. It could be Ospreys by 1 score. I think it's going to be close. Ospreys, Glasgow Warriors fans, let me know your predictions in the comments down below. Heading on to the Sunday, then, we have 2 games for you. We have, first of all, Ulster hosting the Dragons, 3 o'clock at Kingspan Stadium over in Ireland. And a brilliant start it's been for Ulster. 2 big results, beating Benetton 35-24, of course, and then 2 weeks ago, beating the Ospreys 24-12 down at the Liberty. Looking at the Dragons, well, there are encouraging signs, but yet again, the quality is lacking in some areas, and losing the likes of Tompkins, Jamie Roberts, and others to this Welsh national team will really, really hurt them. Losing Wainwright as well. They have lost against Leinster on the opening weekend, which is understandable, and you'd expect that 5 points to 35. And then they beat Zebra 26 points to 18. When we're talking about the Zebra game a little bit earlier on, we did allude to it that the Dragons really should have killed this game off a lot earlier and let the Zebra back into it. But they showed that they can really dominate games. Yes, against a poor Zebra team, we've got to be understanding of that, and no disrespect to Zebra, but they are. There were opportunities to kill the game off, and they didn't quite take it. But they keep a lot of their players, such as Sam Davis, Rodri Williams, will still all be there, not being called up to the Wales team. So they'll keep their nucleus, their core nucleus of players there, but losing some players, I think, will hurt them. So I'm going to back Ulster to win this, just the depth in the squad and the quality they've got, 12 to 20 points for me. And then the evening kickoff for you then is Edinburgh against Connacht at BT Murrayfield. Edinburgh looking for their first result of the season, lost against Munster last week, 25 points to 23, and on the opening weekend lost against the Ospreys 10 points to 25. Really not been at the races so far this season. Last season, of course, was an incredible season, getting into the playoffs. It's not going to happen this season at this rate. They really need to sharpen up. Connacht, though, a mixed bag to start with. Beat Glasgow on the opening weekend, really dramatic fashion there, 28 points to 24. But then got absolutely smashed by Cardiff Blues, 29 points to 7 down at the Cardiff Arms Park. How do I see this one going? Well, Edinburgh have lost a heck of a lot of players to Ireland. Connacht don't tend to lose that much compared to the other four sides over the sea. I think Connacht are going to do this by 5. I think it's going to be close, and I think being at home will certainly help Edinburgh. But I think Connacht are just going to have that little bit more quality and able to deal. And that's the big thing. Who can deal the best with losing their players to the international scene over the coming weeks? And the final game of the weekend is a Monday night kickoff, which is a little bit strange. 8:15 kickoff over at Thomond Park between Munster and the Cardiff Blues. Munster, yes, they are looking to continue their winning streak. 2 wins out of 2 so far against the Scarlets on the opening weekend, winning that one down at Parker Scarlets 30 points to 27, and then beating Edinburgh then 25-23. So some really close games, but 2 results so far. Looking at the Cardiff Blues, they also have won 2 games out of 2, beating Zebra away 16 points to 6, and then beating Connacht, as we just alluded to, 29 points to 7. Again, I've said it many times, it's about who can deal with the losing their players to the international scene. Of course, teams have not been announced. It's a Monday kickoff. We're on a Thursday. I think this game could be a really, really good game. I think it's got the opportunity for a lot of players to showcase what they can do. And I think it's going to be an interesting game. I am going to back Munster, though, because they are home. And I just think they'll have that little bit more quality. But Cardiff Blues have kept a lot of their players who were potentially could be called up to the national team or on the brink. I like a lot of their players that they got down there. Jared Evans was not called up to the national team. You got Matthew Morgan at fullback, who I'm a big fan of. Willis Halaholo not called up. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these teams are able to cope without their players. But I am going to back Munster here. I'm going to say Munster by a single score. So there we go. Those are my predictions for this week's games. As always, make sure to let me know in the comments down below your predictions. How are your side going to do this weekend? If you have enjoyed, feel free to subscribe. Lots of watch-alongs coming over the weekend of the international rugby. We've got the Scotland versus Georgia watch-along on Friday night. We're then going to have the Ireland-Italy. We're then going to have the Wales against France watch-alongs. So we've got 3 watch-alongs happening this weekend, and I'd love you to join me. So to be sure to do that, hit the notification bell, leave a like on the video, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Enjoy the weekend of rugby.